Hey guys, I'm Jared and I'm here at Dallas Vintage Toys in Dallas, Texas. Now, if you've been around the Metroplex and you've been to this store before, you know it's an incredible place that has all kinds of vintage toys and collectibles from all of the different eras. But this is the first time ever that anyone has seen the brand new location that they're just now opening up. In fact, it's not opening up until Tuesday, June 16th. So if you're watching this video, you're gonna see some of the very first footage anyone's ever seen from the inside of the store. So let's check out the all new Dallas Vintage Toys. Wow. Oh my goodness. Look at, whoa, look, I almost stepped on it. This is Dallas Vintage Toys right here on the floor. So that's something new that I've never seen before. Look at all this new product. Well, I'll tell you right here, right off the bat, this is a much larger location than what we've seen in the past. There are toys everywhere, cases and stacks and rows and piles and pegs. Okay, let's get started and let's go around the store and check it all out. So looking right here, right off the bat, here's a bunch of vintage carded figures from the 1990s. I'm seeing everything from X-Men, Fantastic Four, even Aladdin. I mean, who wouldn't want the Palace Guard? You got all your vintage action figures here. You know, they have so much more inventory out here on the floor than they've ever had before. This is crazy. For those of you guys who like Hot Toys, they still have plenty of these in stock, all different varieties, shapes, and sizes. These action figures retail between about $250 and $400 on average, but they go really crazy depending on what you get. Look at this, look at this. So this is an original Galoob Micro Machines, and this is Texas Highway Patrol. And if you look really close there's an actual genuine Micro Machine, black and white, with the Texas logo on the side. This is an actual licensed Texas DPS Micro Machine set. How sweet is that? All right, so here's something that we've never had at any of the other DVT locations, is a vast array of vintage lunch boxes. And they've just got, and they're not just single up here. If you look, they're actually double stacked. So if you pull one out, there's another one behind it. So this is just a ridiculous collection of die-cast lunch boxes. Here's something that's not politically correct. Here's your Dukes of Hazzard. You might as well buy that while you still can. We got Bo and Luke and Miss Daisy Duke right here on the back. But just so much cool stuff here. Stuff that you grew up with and stuff that you remember seeing as a kid. You can come back and sort of recapture some of those memories. And that's always been what Dallas Vintage Toys is about. Original Nintendo action set sealed in the box, and some Nintendo games. Also some Super Nintendo games in here. Lots of cool stuff to see. So I got to point this out because with this new larger store, they have a lot larger room for larger toys. So like back here, check out the Tours, the Turtles subterranean sewer hockey. They got the Turtles toy chest. They've got the Turtles dunk. I think, is that for dirty laundry? They even have an electronic party wagon. That's like a Power Wheels from the late 80s. Still brand new in the box. Unbelievable stuff here in these huge boxes. So they got a lot of vintage carded action figures in here. This is stuff that they used to have on the website that was in the back. Now it's out on display. But you can see everything from Robotech, G.I. Joe, Action Force, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, all kinds of figures from the 70s, 80s, and 90s in here. So I want to point out this display in the corner. So that's an original movie theater Ninja Turtles display from the original live action movie. If you pay really careful attention, you'll see that Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird have both signed this display right there. So it's autographed, it's original, and some Ninja Turtles collectors are really gonna like that thing. So Dallas Vintage Toys is all about action figures, and they're not just vintage, they have modern as well. So if you look here on the wall, they've got stuff in boxes, they've got stuff on cards, and some of this stuff is brand new 2020 stuff, and it's just absolutely stacked everywhere you go, in front of you, behind you, and all around. NECA stuff, Masters of the Universe classics, Aliens, Ninja Turtles, Predator, Batman, Justice League, Power Rangers, it's going down. They have a kids toy section here. They got some old Disney toys. There's been so many iterations of Buzz Lightyear since that original Toy Story movie came out in 1995. Can you believe, by the way, it's been a quarter of a century since Toy Story came out. Does that make you feel old? It's been 25 years. But they have all these different versions of Buzz Lightyear, talking Buzz Lightyears, and different holiday hero Buzz Lightyears, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Pinky and the Brain, and they even have got a bunch of Barbies. Again, vintage Barbies, collectible sets, weird stuff. So it's not just one type of toys, they have all kinds of vintage toys in here. So for you anime fans out there, they've got plenty of anime statues, a lot of Japanese imported toys. Right here, some My Hero Academia stuff, but they also have plenty of Dragon Ball Z, Gundam figures, robots, stuff like that, horror action figures, you name it, they got it. Okay, so probably my favorite feature at the new Dallas Vintage Toy Store is the secret arcade. So you'll see the neon sign right here, it says back to the arcade, but right here in the middle of the toy store, completely unexpected, is an actual free play arcade, and inside they have 5 genuine arcade machines, dedicated arcade machines, and across the 5 machines they play 8 different games. So they have a Centipede here, they have an Asteroids here, then they have a 25th anniversary Pac-Man that also plays Miss Pac-Man and Galaga. Then they've got a Williams Stargate that also plays Defender, and then they've got an original Phoenix back here. But all these games are set to free play. You don't need any sort of quarters or anything like that, and you don't have to pay admission to come in here. So you can just come and enjoy some vintage arcade games while you're shopping vintage toys. Too cool. So some of the toys that people ask about all the time is G.I. Joe, and again, they have so much G.I. Joe, it's crazy. In this case, they just have a great display of different vehicles and action figures from the 80s and 90s of G.I. Joe, and right next to it, another thing that people ask about all the time is Transformers. And again, Transformers got going about 1984. They've got all kinds of G1, G2 Transformers, all different sizes, in the box, out of the box, Japanese, American, etc. It's just overwhelming, honestly, to see all this. So take a look at this. This is probably going to be the most talked about item of the entire store. This is a life-size replica of Castle Grayskull, one of one in the entire world. Sean had to have it, and he found actual movie prop makers who actually make on-screen props for television and movies, and he contracted them. He says, hey, I have money, I would like something, would you make it? And they said, we're in the business of taking money and building things, and sure enough, here is this. And this thing is literally a work of art. It's fully 3D, and you can walk in and out of it. In fact, it even reacts to sound and light. So if you're like me and you grew up in the 80s and you grew up playing with the Castle Grayskull toy or seeing it in the animated series, to actually come into a toy store and walk through the mouth of Grayskull, I'm getting goosebumps right now even talking about it, because it's just such a cool thing to see come to life. And that's what Dallas Vintage Toys is all about. It's not just a toy store, it's an experience. And Sean is sharing his passion for toys and collectibles and all things retro with you, the customer. So when you get to come into the store, you're not just shopping around, you're actually taking a step back in time into a simpler time where having fun and having joy and using your imagination was the name of the game. They call this the graded room, and that's because all the toys in here are graded. What that means is that they have been sent off to a third party and independently appraised and sealed in acrylic with an actual grade on a scale of 100, 0 to 100 in them. So if you look behind me right here, like here's some graded Jurassic Park figures. So all these are gonna be like absolutely pristine. It's like somebody took them out of the box 30 years ago and somehow kept them in immaculate shape, and then now it's the year 2020 and they still look just like they did or better than they did the day that they came out. So these are the rarest of the rare of the rare, okay? Sometimes guys, even finding these figures just loose in a toy box or in a shoe box in your attic, that would be exciting enough. But to find them in the original packaging, or in some cases, like unpunched or untouched packaging, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So check out some of this G.I. Joe stuff. This is the original first run. This would have been 1982 of the new scale of G.I. Joe. So back in the earlier days, G.I. Joe was a full-size action figure, and they have this stuff here from the 70s. But then in the 80s, they switched over to this new scale, and here's this original run, and they've got these carded figures. Right down here, check out Snake Eyes. That's the first ever Snake Eyes right there. And the reason you know he's the first ever is because they have the mail away in the bottom left-hand corner of the card, that little yellow portion that you're seeing right there on your screen. And so to have one like that in that condition, that's probably like a $6,000 or $7,000 action figure, if you guys are wondering. So that's the caliber of collectibles that they have in here. It's not just, you know, $3 packs of cards and $10 action figures. Some of this stuff costs more than the car you're driving. It just depends what you're into. If you ever wanted a photo op with a life-size R2-D2, they got you covered. Here's another cool secret, gonna find it in the store. This is a 1-to-1 scale, life-size Han Solo in carbonite, just like Return of the Jedi. And again, you can stand next to it, you can take a pose, you can do your little selfie, lots of Instagram friendly spots to find in this toy store. Maybe you don't know what you're looking at, but what you're looking at right here is a absolutely ridiculous collection of vintage Star Wars action figures. If you had all of these to your name, you could probably sell them out and buy a brand new Corvette. So one little detail that you may not pay attention to is the actual floor here. So if you played with that Castle Grayskull as a kid, there was actual decals inside of the toy. So what they did is they took those decals from the actual toy, had them digitally remastered, blown up, and then printed, scaled to the actual replica of Castle Grayskull that we just walked through here on the floor. So not only are you walking through Grayskull, you're stepping on Grayskull. And this is the actual artwork that you would have seen in the original toy, but remastered in high definition and printed out life size. How cool is that? Another thing we have to talk about the new Dallas Vintage Toys is the artwork. Sean is into art. He is into original creative designs. So they have graffiti in this store, and if you look around, you'll find it. So this mural of Masters of the Universe, again, is one of one. They said they use over 100 different colors of spray paint just to make this. So a local North Texas-based graffiti artist, his name's Astro, literally has hundreds of cans of spray paint and knows how to manipulate them in a way to make this. So this is an incredible mural that you'll find here, and you can come over here and take pictures with that. And look, I'll even show you something secret, the restroom. Look at this. So he's still working on it, but have you ever seen a restroom with the graffiti Masters of the Universe He-Man? So you're gonna be able to enjoy some artwork while you're literally sitting in the potty. How's that for lit? So guys, in conclusion, this toy store is ridiculous. It's obviously a labor of love. There's obviously a lot of passion, from a life-size Castle Grayskull to a secret arcade in the middle of the store to ridiculous collectible quality examples of toys from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's obvious. Dallas Vintage Toys isn't just the best toy store in North Texas, it might just be the best collectible toy store in America. So if you haven't been in here yet, the grand opening is Tuesday, June 16th. They open at 10 a.m. and whether you can get there then or whenever, you definitely need to add it to your list to come here to Dallas Vintage Toys. There's nothing else like it. Thanks for watching.